Just got a comment on my conversations with God. I changed the title from Conversations with God to Conversations with God, and just got a comment there from this Irish guy who's doing very good videos, I have to say, and searching for Mark B, is it, or something like that. Anyway, thanks very much for all your comments. Honestly do appreciate them. And now you've just watched my Conversations with God, which actually is bringing up the whole issue that I'm trying to bring up, which is we're not just male and female on this planet, you know. And well, I just have to say that growing up in Ireland, it's very difficult not to have some kind of a religious understanding, or if not some kind of a faith in a God. It's not too difficult to realise that Jesus isn't coming back and coming from Ireland. It's also, you know, most people who watch my Conversations with God, or as it was formerly called, my Conversations with God, you know, most people who watch that video, and most of the comments that you read underneath, are actually people thinking that I am actually religious and Catholic and all sorts of things like that. Technically, I have been baptised Catholic, and I haven't found a treatment to unbaptise myself yet. But if anybody knows of anything to unbaptise myself, please let me know, because I'd like to unbaptise myself, because I believe if there is a heaven, I'm going there anyway. You know, and I would be the sort of person to be going to heaven much more than most Christians put together. But that's again because of my attitude and behaviour towards other people on this planet. By the way, I'm not trying to paint a perfect picture, whatever. I'm not trying to paint a perfect picture. That's what I wanted to say. Yeah. No, I mean, I've all sorts of flaws and all sorts of things that I would do that could not be seen in a good light always. And you know, I would agree with the thing that, you know, fight fire with fire in so many cases, but not in every case. So, you know, to fight aggression, you need to show an aggressive stance yourself. But that's the point, you need to show an aggressive stance and not be aggressive, you know? Anyway, so I'm tangenting again. I'm going to go play football in an hour and 5 minutes. Very precise, isn't it? Germans are very precise, you see. I'm having all sorts of bureaucratic problems at the moment. But they're not problems, sorry, I'm evolving into my old self. Yeah, I need to be the new self. I don't have problems, I have situations. I've been saying that for years, but I, you know, lose it a bit, you know. It's hard to keep your integrity, it's hard to, you know, keep with your goal. You get swayed off sometimes, and, you know, and I think it's healthy to get swayed off, because then you think, oh, do I want to be on that goal? Oh, I really do want to be there. I'm going to go back, I'm going to fix myself so I can get back there. And I'm basically going to be fixing myself, more than likely, even though it's going to be a touch and go probably for the next 6 months, for whether I'm going back on testosterone or not. Yeah, I wanted this to be a really short video. I suppose it still is a short video. We're only 4 minutes into it now. But I just wanted to say that it's very, very difficult coming from Ireland to get rid of some of that brainwash. Some of that brainwash. Don't Christians freak out now by thinking that I think that it's all brainwash. It's not all brainwash. Thou shalt not kill isn't brainwash. Thou shalt not steal is not brainwash. They're very good guidelines. If you want to call them rules, fair enough. But they're very good guidelines. And it should be more like, thou shalt try not to steal. Thou shalt try not to kill. Because if you think about it logically, what's killing? Is it killing a man, or is it killing a mosquito that's biting at your skin? And yeah, so a lot of people think I'm religious, and because I mention God a lot. And it's funny that, let me fart. God and Jesus makes me fart. Because I digest it well. I'm able to suck it in and go, yeah, interesting story. That's a good point there. I'll take that point. Oh, there's the Buddhist religion over there. I'll take a bit of that. Take a bit of that there. Oh, the Jews. There's something there. You know, oh, the Jehovah's Witnesses, the Baha'is, the Mormons, the blah blah. There's all sorts of religions out there. Sorry, I didn't mention the Muslims. So, take the good from everything. You're left with good solid fruit that you can eat. To be spiritual, It's funny though, the amount of people who think that I'm religious from the Conversations with God video. I was merely trying to make a point in the Conversations with God video to all the people who do believe in God, and worse still, the people who believe in Jesus Christ coming back from the fucking dead. That is warped, and please, I mean, even 50 years ago I could still respect Christians or anybody like that believing that Jesus Christ is coming back from the dead. But hello, let's be fucking realistic here. Please, people, please wake up from that fairy tale. God is a different matter, Funny that I say that in those words, because in my opinion God isn't matter. Yeah, it isn't solid. It's fluid. And as they say in nearly every religious teaching, waffle, they say that God is everywhere, and I agree with that, because I do think that there is that feeling of God. There's definitely a feeling of it. Whether or not there's actually a thing, a matter thing, or a fluid in the air spiritual thing that you feel, I think there is something there, but I don't think, again, it's some thing. I think it's some things, and I think it's a group, and I think it's all collective. I think it does have a huge power if you can channel into it. Yeah? But it's not about praying, in my opinion. Excuse me, all you people who pray every day and every night before you go to bed. Excuse me for mentioning my opinion. But it's not all about praying. Praying to the God and going to church and telling your sins to a priest that most of the time is sinning itself. I say itself because I don't want to say himself, because some priests are women now. Fair play, women, to get that equal right to be a priest. That's something good. My brother got married in Australia. I went to Sydney, and the person that was going to marry them was going to be a guy, and it ended up being a woman. And so that was very pleasant, to be honest with you, because women in general have a much more pleasant attitude to life. They have a much more core central system that says peace on earth, let's have it now, please. All of these statements will be very, 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 very sexist in the future, when we've actually got to a point of just having people in the world. And you'll be listening to this video in 2279. Yeah, you'll be listening to this video thinking, oh, they were very sexist back then. Why do they keep going on about these specimens called men and women? I think I should start doing videos like that, to start giving you a picture of what I see in the future. Instead of complaining about the now. I'm not actually complaining about the now. I'm just talking about the now as a reality. And when you talk about reality, things that are shit, you tend to get angry. So it's not really a complaining thing that I'm in the mood for. It's more of an information sharing. But I do really appreciate this new XXY coming onto the YouTube. We are starting to argue now, which is not too bad, to be honest. But I just don't want it to escalate into a very extreme personal horror story for either of us or both of us. And, because I've noticed that XXYs are, lack of attention, kind of aggressive, kind of in ways, not really seeing what's the expression? Not really seeing the wood for the trees, or something like that. When you just see you see a tree but you don't see the forest, or whatever. The expression. We don't see that as XXYs. We kind of I noticed this. This is my own study, so it's the early study, so it's not a fact yet. But I hope that when I continue my studies into this, because I think I'm very able to study this sort of stuff, not from the scientific point of view. I don't like science, never did. But I think from an emotional, counselling, psychological sense of things and helping out, that's where I can come in very handy, because I have a very good way of talking with people and breaking up problems into small, again, situations, trying to exchange problems for situations. And I'll equally try and practice what I preach and remember what I was teaching everybody myself. You know, better to say situations instead of problems, because problems are negative. That's why in my kitchen I have something written on the wall saying, "We have real." And the reason it's "we have real" is because my girlfriend and myself wanted to write "we have no real problems" on the wall when we were together. And this is a girlfriend of a few years ago, and we wrote "we have real" because we kept out the negative out of the sentence, which is "no" and "problems." So we changed. We always said we don't have problems, we have situations. So there's no problem here. I'm enjoying YouTube with all of you. Ciao.